Um, anyway, I'm going to say our guest is in the waiting room here. I'm going to add her on. Welcome to the show, Charlotte. How are you?
Hey Sean, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm good. I'm
Oh,
good.
tangled in my wires. Right, hi.
Oh, tangled. Okay. Yeah, all right. I'm glad you got wires, not the. I'm still using wires too. I don't use those. We call them like the wireless
The bud
headphones.
things.
Yeah, the buds, the earbuds. You
Yeah.
shouldn't be using the earbuds. Like there's people that I know that use them. And I'm like, like how they work, the earbuds. I'm like, one of them is like the master one,
Yeah.
and then the other one is like, the master one sends a signal straight through your head
Oh
to
dear.
to the other one, which makes it work
Yeah.
then.
I
And I'm
remember
just like,
yeah,
go
when,
on.
they've only been around about a few years. I remember in 2019, I was in New York and I was sat outside this bar, and like the ants going to work. Hey, the scurrying along all the roads in New York. So many, people had these earpods in, one after the other, and I don't think they'd been launched over here just then. And I saw them all, just like a massive one after the other. I thought that is alien to me. And then all of a sudden, everyone's got them.
I remember it being, what it reminds me of? There used to be, I used to watch Doctor Who with,
Yeah.
the David Tennant Doctor Who era. And I remember there was like a series, there was a thing where, like the Cybermen were in it, which are like, I don't know if you know anything about Doctor Who, right? I know
It's not my bag, but go
it's a bit dorky,
on.
yeah. But the point is that they had these wireless earbuds, and it
Yeah.
was basically a prelude to them being basically turned into brain dead zombies and then turned into these Cybermen. It's basically Cybermen are basically just zombies, but in metal sort of casing. That's basically the sort of closest thing to it, and it's just quite funny. It's just like, yeah, like how everyone is just basically a brain dead zombie now,
Yeah.
and
Well,
they
look
just
how
go
many
along with
people did you,
everything.
do you remember only a short few years ago seeing somebody who looked like they were talking to themselves walking down the street, and then you realise, oh no, it's just because you've not got a phone held to the ear, and then you just see that all the time, especially like in places like London and stuff, and that is alien to me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, nerd alert. Exactly. Great prompt. Nerd alert indeed. Anyway, Charlotte, look, you're on the show. You've got your own show now, haven't you?
Oh, I'm giving it a bash. I've had so
I
many
thought you were a
people on
person,
it.
because I used to say that you're like the Tara Para Thompson of
Ah, you
the
always say that.
freedom
Yeah.
community, where you seem to have your claws into every kind of group, and I
I don't know
wonder if you're
why.
conspiring and putting, are you planting like bad info into people's,
Oh my
whispering
god.
in their ear like worm tongue from that, and putting,
I
is that what you
mean,
do?
I'd be suspicious of myself if I weren't myself. No, I'm joking. Although this morning on Facebook, I did see somebody say, "Oh, everyone knows she's a shill." I mean, most people don't know who I am, which is great. But things get said and they get repeated, and it sticks in a lot of people's minds. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I put an event on a few years ago when everyone was coming out of lockdown. An idea that came to mind, thinking, oh, I'd love to see that with my own eyes. Everyone kind of wanted to come to it, and it kind of went from there. I think it went from there. I don't know how it started, really. But yeah, it's
You're very proactive, aren't you? You're very proactive.
if we could go back to the COVID shit show, I wanted to shout it from the roofs what were going on and telling people and all the rest of it. Thank you, Alphabet Cat. And so I became a bit prolific on social media, and I almost didn't give a shit. I actually ended up losing my job because of it.
I
And
remember you saying, yes.
yeah, and so leaving the corporate industry I was in, I thought I can't return to that kind of environment again. I can't. I wouldn't let it happen. I felt sick thinking about it, and I was in that industry through 2020 onwards, having to keep my mouth shut and pretend everything was okay and I was going along with everything, and that kind of thing makes you ill. And so when I left that industry, I thought had some contacts because of social media, been to events and whatnot. And luckily, I found myself at TNT and I really enjoyed the job there. That closed down, and so now I work for Iconic, but I'm still doing little bits, and I have got a big contact list. So I thought I'll start doing my own podcast, see how that goes. So I'm on to episode 5.
I see you've got David Curtin on tonight. Is that right, or is that an old post?
Yeah. I'm going to have a chat with him later. So I was his producer at TNT, for people who don't know that. I was so pleased to get him on board to have his own show. He was really over the moon with it. And we had some good laughs. So
yeah, he's a great guy. David Curtin, I've always said, he is a great guy. I think that is that's a guy with integrity and an honor. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Tell you what, last night when I was looking for, because I would like to play some clips in the show and things like that. I'm going to be playing the one they had on UNN where we're talking about Israel wanting to fund him at one point. So that was going to be a big topic of conversation. But
David Curtin.
Yeah.
So, that's how. I mean, again, we don't say this out of a place of hate, do we, Charlotte? At least I don't know about you. I'm pretty sure you're the same as well. Right? I'm pretty sure you're the same as well. But we notice this. A lot of people, it's not just us, but many people are noticing this.
Yeah.
And this is how they basically, like with the whole. You probably saw earlier. I showed the AIPAC tracker records of all of the major American politicians, and a lot of them, the only two, I think there's literally only two out of all of Congress, and both the Republican and Democrat side, only like a handful do not take any money from that. All of them, Republican, Democrat, they take all the money and they buy all of these politicians. Most of these politicians, they don't have integrity. They're not honorable people. We know that they're scumbags. We know that you can buy these people. They're basically just political mercenaries. That's all they are. You can just buy them. You buy their loyalty, essentially. But people like David Curtin, and this is what I always used to say, is that when I used to run with David Curtin in politics, and even before that, if you are a person of integrity, I mean, look at I don't know too much about Marjorie Taylor Greene, but she has just resigned. She's going to be leaving in January. If you are a person of integrity, you will never get anywhere in politics. You have to be as ruthless and scumbaggy and weaselly and, a complete yes man.
Underneath.
And Keir Starmer, Keir Starmer's the perfect analogy of that. It's that you can only get there. So it's like, that's why I personally can't see politics as the solution. As much as I love David Curtin and he's a great guy, unfortunately, I would actually be suspicious if he did get somewhere, because I'll be like, what deals has he done? What documents has he done? What have they done to this guy? I would be thinking. What's your opinion on that? Do you think that there is a political solution to this?
Certainly not whilst they have to pledge allegiance to the crown, if they do get through. I don't think there is. I know you have more experience in that arena than I. I think I don't know how it could be overthrown. David Curtin and the Heritage Party. David Curtin, you and I know, is a decent chap. He's the only guy, or the only politician who speaks out against things like Agenda 2030, all that kind of thing. Reform don't talk about that. Even the civil rights groups that are aligned to our side of thinking don't talk about that. For example, you Together lot. And so whilst everyone's skirting around different subjects, talking about mass immigration being an issue, but not getting to the root cause of stuff, then it's just song and dance, isn't it?
Do you know what I think that is, though? It's because it's simply too heavy for the average person. It's like, it's not because, like, what David's doing, talking about Agenda 30 and all of that, is that it even though we see it, you can easily just go onto the internet and just go onto the UN site and WEF and all of that, and you can actually print this thing out, and you can just give it, as many people have, in the past on rallies and marches and protests and all of that, and you can actually give it to people and say, look, there it is. But it's just it's so far a bridge too far for some people, that they just look at you like you're nuts. Even though you can show them the proof. You go, look, it's right here in my hand. It's right here. And like they will just not. They just, because they've been so conditioned to think that all of that kind of stuff is like James Bond villainry and and just conspiracy X-Files stuff. That they just won't believe it. And
it's amazing.
But that's the reason why politics isn't the solution. Because, in my opinion, because politics is downstream from culture, as they say. And if the culture, if most of the culture do not believe in that kind of stuff, then there's no point of even making that any part of your policy and your manifesto, because they just won't do it. So that in itself just shows you that it's pointless. Like, politics is like, parties are just like a reaction to how people are feeling right now. So that's why I think people like Zach Polanski of the Green Party, that's why he's also being pushed, because he is just coming up with, he is reflecting what people are. He's worked out that basically these people, they don't know much, right? They don't understand things really, and I'm just going to come up with a simple BS solution, which isn't a solution at all, and just basically say what they want to hear. And that's it. And that's all it. And then the establishment have recognised that, and I think they've pushed him then based on that. I mean, what do you think of that?
Oh yeah, I think it's certainly been installed for that purpose, hasn't it? And he's getting so much coverage. Back to Zach Polanski, gets so much coverage, which is abnormal, really, for such a small party. I know they're doing well in London, etc. But yeah, he's the new representative of the woke left, isn't he? And so I probably don't believe what he's saying. In on it, I'd have thought too. I know what religion he is. So
is he religious? Is he? I thought he's atheist. Is he religious? Is he Judaic?
I think if you look into the heritage, it's the usual suspects.
Oh, I see. Oh, wait. Okay. The culture of it. All right.
Yeah.
I was going to say, so on your show, so you got, obviously now there's no KT400, there's no UNN tonight. Dave is off, and your show's at 8, isn't it?
Hopefully I'll edit it in order to get it out by that time. By that I mean.
Oh, I see. Oh, it's not live. Oh, but what do you do?
No, I don't. I'm all scared of live. This is a bit daunting. So no. I just put some. I know it's only you, but yeah, I'm not.
It's only me. Yeah, I'm another one. What are you talking about? Yeah.
You're a good friend of mine, Sean. That's what I meant. So I'm not just quite there in terms of I'm not professional at this, so I'm just.
Where do you broadcast your Do you have a YouTube channel? Or do you just put it on Facebook and Twitter? What do you do?
Yes, I've got a very small YouTube channel, Charlotte Emma UK. Currently, there's odd bits on there. Me playing the piano a few times.
Are you a pianist? Are you?
Yeah, did you not know?
Your hands, around the piano.
You could say that, yes, yeah. I've got a new goal.
I've heard about you, Burnley girls. Yeah.
Shut up. No, I've only just started picking it back up again recently. I've got a goal that I'm gonna, by February next year, Valentine's Day specifically, I'm gonna have a repertoire. I'm gonna take my digital piano and play some bistros, I think. So I'm trying to get really good again.
You're gonna do some jingles for us for.
I can do some jingles. Yeah,
do some jingles. Yeah. They used to be about 30 seconds long, and then just whatever, and just make a song around it.
Yeah, you could sing off the top like that. Brilliant.
I could do. Yeah, we could write the theme tune. We can sing the theme tune.
Write the theme tune. Sing the theme tune.
Yeah. Yeah. So
what else do you want to know, Sean?
What guests have you had on so far then?
So I started off with Abby Roberts, our friend, because she launched a new book, Hot Banana, available at all good. Well, it's not, but and then our other friends. So it's all keeping it in the family, really. Steve and Sue. Steve off of UNN fame. Roundabouts. So we went through. What he's been up to recently with his sandwich board that says there's no such thing as a transgender child. So he's been going around the cities, hasn't he? He's been attacked a few times. So for people who don't know Steve or do know Steve, he's quite I guess him and Sue are a pint size, aren't they? But Sue, but Steve can handle himself, and he might not come across like he
Yeah,
can.
he's a black belt in Taekwondo. I want to say, I think it's Taekwondo. I can't remember what the art is, but yeah, he's a black belt in that. I've been to his house, right? I've been to.
Yeah.
I was saying this the other day to someone. I can't remember who it was now. He's got an entire. So he's built like a gym, right, within his house. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got a gym within his house, loads of weight. And I'm not talking about the sort of weights you go down to Argos and buy these crappy kind of weights. I mean, like proper professional, like weight machine, like proper, like, the machines as well. I think he's got a rowing machine and all of that. Like, he's got a proper gym inside that he's made from him and Sue,
yeah.
And all of the wall, one side. So obviously there's 4 walls in a room, and one of the walls is just decked out in like medals and trophies, everything you think of. He's won all these awards. I think Sue has as well.
Sue has, yeah.
Yeah, like both. I don't know. I think it's both of them. Yeah. Like it's just the entire wall is just covered in like medals and trophies and everything. So this is it's a guy who probably knows what he's doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. He's really unassuming, isn't it? Like if you were to walk down, if you were of that mindset of pro trans, etc., and you thought, I'm going to have a go at him, I'm going to throw some chili over him. I think he's had chili, he's had soup over him. Also, someone even went with him with a pair of scissors to cut the strings that his sandwich board held on with. So that's on video, someone with a pair of scissors and just really angry people. But he's put people in citizens' arrests. He's tackled people to the floor. Some guy ran off with his boards or his property or whatever he wanted to call them, and he waited till the police arrived and he got him on the floor. And you wouldn't think that of him unless you knew that, would you?
No, I mean, like he's he's a nice guy. Both of them, Sue and Steve, they're good people. There's actually a funny story once where Piers Corbyn happened to end up. I think he missed his train or something like that. It was some reason why he couldn't. So Sue and Steve offered, "Oh yeah, you can stay at our place."
Oh, right.
And we thought there was a moment where we thought, like Sue had made breakfast, right? And there was I think there was 5 of us in the house in total. Sue, Steve, myself, Siraj. I think Siraj was there, and Piers, right? And anyway, we thought, we'll wait till Piers gets up, right, and then we'll decide what to do for the day. And anyway, it got to like 12, and Piers had still not arisen, right? and then we just got talking and whatever. We might have even been on the red wine. I can't remember, right? Or probably like me and Sora probably definitely on the beers, right? And then it got to about 3 p.m. And then like I was literally like in mid conversation with Sue, right? Yeah. And then I realized it just popped into my head then that, oh my God, is Piers dead? like in my head, like he still hadn't gotten up. It was about 3:30 or something.
Oh God!
I was just literally in mid conversation, and then like it just popped in my head. I went, "Oh my God, Piers might be dead because he still hasn't got up." And then I stopped what we were saying. And I went, "Sue, I think we need to check on Piers Corbyn because he might be dead, right? Yeah. We've not actually considered that
or naked."
And dead, yeah. So scared stiff, maybe, yeah. So we knocked on the door, and there was no answer of the room. There was no answer, and there was no I couldn't hear anything, no snoring or nothing like that. And then I was like, oh my God, he might be dead. So Sue then went around the front of the house, and they didn't have net curtains at in this particular bedroom, So then she peered through the window and she said, yeah, he's in bed. But again, there's no movement. So again, we might have to go in and see if he's alive.
Could have poked him with a stick through the window.
You know what? I think that was actually a possible consideration, right? And then Yeah, and then I think I didn't go in. Someone else went in. I can't remember who it was now. It might have been Sue. It probably was Sue. Yeah, we got a woman to do it. I think that was the elected thing around the. So me, Steve, and Siraj elected that she go in. And then yeah, she just sort of like poked him on the back or whatever, and then he was like, "Oh, what do you want?" Yeah, and all that, and then we were like, "Oh, thank God, he's not dead." And that was
Resist.
it. Yeah, that's what he said. Yeah, that's what he said when we touched him. It was like a button, and then he just resist. Do not defy. Yeah, that's one of the things I remember from Sue and Steve's house is that there was a genuine fear that he might have died because he was so silent. It was silent witness sort of stuff. It was like you just couldn't hear. You couldn't hear anything from him, and he's normally always talking, so that's why it was a bit of a shock.
Yeah.
So but there you go. Anyway, that's the Sue and Steve story. What other? So I see.
Well, I bet you could write a book on the amount of Piers Corbyn stories you've got for sure.
You could. I'm like a genuine Piers Corbyn fan. Like I in the sense that I just love his antics. Do you know what I mean?
What about the other week with the Chinatown food incident?
I don't want to go into that one.
No, we won't. We'll say that.
We won't. That was hilarious. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah,
he's got a new entourage, hasn't he?
He does. I call them the Pierce Posse. Right? They're like think of like the X-Men, right? But like they're all like they're all character, like they're all like oddball characters, like in an endearing way. Like obviously Pierce would be there like Professor X. You know what I mean? Like that, but they're all kind of like like a superhero. They're like a superhero team. They're like the Avengers or something, or the Justice League that have combined together, and they've got all these funny characters with their own unique sort of characteristics. Yeah, like you had, so. Yeah, but so the other character I've seen you had Jada Franson.
Oh yeah. Well, do you know what? I remember her from. I remember the headlines from back in the day when she was in Britain First, when I wasn't politically minded as such. So, you just hear the accusations of being racist, which she kind of wears as a badge, and all that. So, yeah, I enjoyed looking at some of the things that she got up to in the past, and when Donald Trump had retweeted her a few times, and it made headlines all over the world, and she lost a Twitter account as a result, and Piers Morgan were confronting Donald Trump and saying you're gonna have to delete these messages, and they refused to do so. I think even Theresa May got involved, so that was quite funny for her to look back on. Yeah, we talked about the Joe Cox murder. Do you remember the guy Thomas Mayer? He allegedly shouted "Britain first" when that was the headline.
Yeah, what was Jada's conclusion to that? What was her? Did she think that was because again, me, been down so many rabbit holes now, is that and you get to know just how sinister the state is. I could easily see that as being like a total. It's like a psyop sort of thing. Like I do believe she was killed. Like a lot of people just go, "Oh no, that she never died" or whatever. But I do think she was killed.
She did consider that angle. Because at the time, first of all, the fact that the guy had shouted "Britain first," there was a video I played of the eyewitnesses being asked, "Did you hear this guy shout Britain first?" And all of them said no. So first of all, that narrative was spun in order to look like it was a far right, whatever racist attack, because I think she'd been very pro refugees, etc. And then to look at it now, all these years later, with Joe Cox's sister being in charge of this end of life suicide, whatever bill going through Parliament. The fact that they're all Fabians or ex-husband Brendan Cox, he's blocked me on Twitter because he just spouts a lot of far left nonsense. That's an element. You've got to look at these things because everyone talks about recently more so the Fabian Society. You've got other things. You've got Freemasons, blah 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 blah, but they're all parts and cogs of social engineering. That's what they're there for, essentially, aren't they? So they don't make the decisions from the top, but they've got to be a part of how they get from A to B. And so if you think that Joe Cox and even that David Amis, to an extent, their murders were I'm not saying they were killed on purpose or whatever happened, but what happened since has helped get to where we are and the people involved. Yeah,
definitely. And people like put Jill Dando's murder. That's I do think that these people were killed, but they have been used. Like you look at the recent Charlie Kirk thing, right?
Yeah,
the recent Charlie Kirk thing, and I am a believer that that it was ultimately an Israel hit job, right? But you see now how they have twisted that. So at the end of the day, right? And again, these are just my thoughts, right? At the end of the day, some of the final messages from Charlie Kirk, right, were where is it? I put this up literally the other day. Where is it? These were like some of the final messages from Kirk. Always remember the last text from Charlie Kirk before he was killed, right? Is that this was revealed. This isn't fake. This was revealed, right? Is that what he said here? And this is Charlie Kirk's words. He said, "Jewish donors play into all of the stereotypes. I cannot and will not be bullied like this, leaving me no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause." Right? If he left the pro-Israel camp, right? If he left the pro-Israel what's the word I'm looking for? The plantation, right? If he left the pro-Israel plantation, right? He would have undone all of the indoctrination that he did to all of his young followers, right? Because again, people form cults around people. There's cults of personality. Nick Fuentes has one right now.
Yeah.
Donald Trump famously has one. He would undo all of that, and because they need young minds. They need the establishment, or in this case, the sort of the Zionist establishment. They need young people to be on their side. This is why I think also why they've brought Nick Fuentes in from the cult, because he has a young, massive following, and they need to basically court Nick Fuentes. And if Nick Fuentes gets on the side of gets into the third class establishment, then all of his cultist followers will also follow suit as well, because they're cultists, because they're dogmatic sheeple, essentially, right?
Yeah.
Is that Charlie Kirk would have been the same. They would have undone all of that. So how they've now used that, if you look at things like Turning Point USA, and again, they call it Turning Point USA, and I always say organizations and people who use American symbolism or even the term USA and all of this into their word, and it's just because they're usually masking something that they are. Turning Point is essentially an Israel operation. It's an Israel organization, right? You've got Turning Point UK here with Nick Tanconi, and you've got Turning Point USA, formerly of Charlie Kirk. And how they've twisted and they've basically cut out, they're trying to basically use revisionist history to remove all this stuff, the stuff he was saying before he was killed, that he was going to leave. He was basically doing what Robert Maxwell did and saying that he became too big for his boots, and he just simply went, well, I'm bigger than you guys, and if you mess with me, then I'm going to reveal everything. And then I think Robert Maxwell was killed by with Israel again, because he was an Israel, basically Mossad spy.
And then they gave him a state funeral to mask the hatred for him.
Yes, exactly. This is what they do, and they're doing it with Charlie Kirk now. So you're seeing all of this. You're seeing this in real time with Charlie Kirk, and they're trying to keep him to be this pro-Israel talking figure. Do you know what I mean? Like figure.
Yeah, totally. Right? Yeah.
And this is what they're trying to do with the people we were just saying. Well, the people we were saying before, with like you say about the people that have been knocked off recently, like other people who have been killed as well, is that they use those people like Jill Dando, for example. She was going, I believe, if you really look into her before she died, I think she was going to reveal the whole paedophile scandal. She's going to reveal Jimmy Savile and all of that. She was going to reveal
that even made mainstream headlines. Wasn't it on like the front of the Daily Mirror or something like that to say she had actually given this.
She was investigating. In my opinion, she was investigating the BBC. She found corruption within the BBC. She was going to reveal it because she probably genuinely did have ideals and principles and values, and all of these things. That's right. This is why I say, if you can't get anywhere, if you have those things, you will be killed. You will just get nowhere. Whatever it is, right? You just won't succeed, right?
Yeah.
Is that and then they basically bumped her off, and then they used her
blame
death.
Someone else. Yeah.
They used her death. Yeah, you're like, and they used her death then to basically be a figurehead of the BBC. Whenever the mainstream talk about Jill Dando, she's considered this darling of the BBC and how she loves the BBC and all of this. That's why
she was the BBC. Yeah.
Yeah, and all of this, and it's just and they even in death, like it's so scummy. Even in death, they use these people to further gazette, whatever the corrupt organization is.
Yeah.
Further that. And also, if you look at Jill Dando, I remember Jill had seen a video. Jill Dando, if you look at her dress where she was shot as well at the door, similar to Joe Cox, is that and again, it's again a bit conspiratorial. Now the front part of her front garden where she was shot, Jill Dando, is now a checkered, black and white checkered walking path. And
that does not surprise me. Hey, and don't forget that her boyfriend at the time, can't remember his name, but I think he ended up delivering Princess Kate's just one of the babies, but all of them. There were some weird connections. Cliff Richard was a bit of a dodgy person in her life at the time as well.
That was her handler. I reckon that was her handler. I think like you always got to look at who are these people, like who are their spouses or who are their partners and who are their family. That's the two, and usually their mother or father. You've got to look at who are these people.
Yeah.
You look at people like Kash Patel. I'm sorry, but Kash Patel hasn't got a bird like that because of his charm and looks. I don't care. That people go, oh well, women just go after money and fame sometimes. I don't buy it.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I think that is his handler. You look at Keir Starmer. I think Keir Starmer is gay. I think he is homosexual in a lavender marriage. His wife also happens to be Jewish. Also, I don't think they're even Keir Starmer's kids. I reckon. I think that. Well,
I'm sure that somebody did some research and he's misgendered and misaged them a couple of times over the years. I think did have 2 boys or whatever.
He doesn't even know. He sometimes refers to them as 2 girls. Sometimes he refers to them as 2 boys. Yeah. Sometimes a mix of the two. He doesn't seem to know who his kids are.
He never reads his script before he says what's on it anyway, does he? He said that with the whole when he said we're an island of strangers, and that was his excuse. I didn't read the script before I'd said it.
No, that's just. I think that's just him trying to. I don't know what trying to basically use talking points of Farage. I don't know, because obviously that's a threat to him. I don't know. I don't know about that.
No,
I think it's something. It's just more political chicanery. I think personally, but I could be wrong. Charlotte, are you going to be getting a show on Unprecedented TV?
Well, I don't know. Like I said, I'm just finding my feet. So see how it will get on. It might not be very well received. I don't know.
But it's your show. I mean,
I know. Yeah. Would you be a guest on it?
Yeah, of course I would. Yeah, of course I'd be a guest. Yeah, but you would have. You don't want me. I mean, who am I? Who am I?
You and I remember the first time I saw you, the Comcast, when you were on the stage and there were 5 of you, and you were the most interesting out of all of them. I thought. I'm not just saying that to blow.
Can I share a secret with you? I'll share a secret with you. I was actually very, very drunk on that stage. A lot of people didn't know. God,
I've seen you more drunk.
I went on that stage, right? And basically, Comcast. You want to explain what Comcast is? Quickly?
Yeah, so there was a series of 3 events, short for Comedy Podcast Live, and the first one took place in Kegworth, Leicestershire, and it was a quite unique concept because, again, it was just not that long after we'd all been locked down and all the rest of it, and so the idea was to get some of the voices that had been censored and I guess outspoken at the same time in the same room. We had some comedians on, we had some music, and it was quite a success.
I liked it. I really liked it.
Yeah.
But I think what it was is that it was. I mean, to be fair, I mean, it was. They did kind of like have a monopoly on it in the sense that it was an indoor festival, so it was in a hotel, wasn't it? And I noticed it was in Kegworth. It was in Kegworth, and it was basically an airport hotel. So there was a hotel near an airport.
Conference centre kind of thing, wasn't it?
It was like a conference centre with a hotel built around it in a way. So the conference centre. But I noticed that Ryanair and these other commercial airlines, there was a lot of basically pilots and air hostesses, etc., and all like airport staff. And that's basically where they were trained. They were kind of like using the conference center as well to train all like, I don't know, like new pilots and new whatever staff.
Trolley dollies,
yeah, whatever, right? They would also use that. But that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But
that's why I liked it.
Yeah, that was part of it. Yeah. So, but it was also because when was it? It was like in February or something. What was it?
About 2023, beginning of 2023.
Yeah, it's like January or February, which is okay because obviously then they would have, and it's an indoor festival. So it's a 3-day indoor festival in a hotel, and that's fine because technically there's nothing going on. It's not like the outdoor festivals where there's like some things were clashing. I remember Carry On Camping would clash with Hope Sussex and all of that. There was all clash. So they sort of like, but I think it was literally in January. I remember one of them was in January, and I remember thinking that's a little bit too close to like Christmas, and a lot of people don't have any money at this point.
Yeah, I remember that.
And it maybe should have been just like either before Christmas, like I'm talking about like October, perhaps something like that, or maybe a little bit further, like in March, maybe, or something like that. Not directly near New Year's and Christmas, because everyone's going to be like totally kind of wiped out. But that was the only kind of criticism of that. But apart from that, so that particular thing I was speaking at, I think that was the final day of the whole weekend, and I just remember I was just there in party mode. I remember Matt Hoy was singing, and I remember just being totally out of it, and he came up to me with the mic whilst he was doing his songs and whatnot. And then I just didn't know what the hell the song was. He was singing something. It could have been something from UB40. I don't know, right? I'm not really a big UB40 fan, right? And he just gave me the mic as in to say the next thing.
I think I remember that. Yeah.
And I was just totally out of it. I didn't know what was going on. But on that time I went up to that stage, and it was me, Nick Cotton,
Johnny Vedmore.
Johnny Vedmore, which is quite funny now because him and them two hate each other.
He's going to be a guest on my show towards the end of this week because we've got some deep dives to talk about.
Who's that? Who Vedmore?
Johnny.
Yeah. I don't know him. That's literally the first time I ever met him on that stage. I've never heard of him or anything. Not because it just didn't happen to know. And what's her name? Finch. What's her name?
Less said about her the better.
What was her name?
Mary Finch. Yeah.
Mary Finch. Yeah. And then was it just those four?
And there was one more.
Was there no more? Was there 5 or was there 4?
Yeah, Francis O'Neill.
Oh, was he there too? Francis O'Neill. Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
So anyway, I went on and I had this bottle, and I can't remember what it was. What was it? But basically, what people didn't know is that it was actually like Jameson's. It was like a coffee cup or something. I can't remember what it was. It was basically something being disguised as alcohol, basically.
Yeah.
And then I was just continuing the partying from the Friday and Saturday. And then
You're
it
like
was like,
11 a.m. on the Sunday.
oh, Sean, you have to go up and do some stuff now. And I'm like, oh, okay, then we just finish this. And then I just put it into like a cup or something like that, like a coffee cup. And then I just went on. And then whatever happened. Do you know what? No one filmed it. Did anyone film that?
No, I don't think they did. But I've got it etched in my mind, and you were very good. You were lucid, so considering that you were
Very lucid.
pissed out your head, you were fine.
Yeah, but in a good way, not in a he's making a total tit of himself on stage.
No, honestly, I was actually pleasantly surprised. So.
That's the greatest compliment that a woman's ever given me. I was pleasantly surprised. God. In fact,
yeah.
But
you know what you're talking about sometimes, don't you?
Every now and then. Anyway, look, Charlotte, I think I'm gonna let you go. I think you've been on for almost an hour. That's incredible.
Wow.
The conversations just flown by. But your show, so I'll put it again. It's on YouTube and Twitter and Facebook. It's on Facebook as well.
Yeah, giving it a go. Yeah, I've even started my own page on Facebook, so if you can follow me and like me, that'd be nice.
Look at you.
Oh, I know, but it's slow moving at the minute. So, but hopefully everyone enjoys it.
Because you got so many. Because you're the Tara Para Tompkinson of the freedom community, you've made all these network connections. You've networked.
Oh, it's ridiculous, really. Yeah.
And so then you always have quite good guests on by that logic. So yeah.
Even Graham Linehan said he'd come on with me. Ooh.
He just got let off today.
I saw that.
Yeah. You see he's got because we're also a news show, guys, right? He's the news is that Graham Linehan, he got let off, and the judge. Let's find that quickly before.
Yeah.
Is he good? It'd be good to get him on ASAP, basically, because obviously now he's finished his court proceedings. What did it say?
Thank you, Carly Mids.
It said Father Ted Graham has been cleared of harassment against a trans activist, but guilty of criminal damage to their phone. Oh, I didn't know this bit. 57-year-old comedy writer who had faced trial at Westminster Magistrates Court denied both charges linked to the post made on social media and a confrontation at a conference in London in October 2024. Summarising, District Judge Bryony Clark stated by saying it was not for the court to pick sides in the debate about sex and gender identity. Well, I don't think that's true. She said she found Linehan was a generally credible witness and appeared to be generally frank and honest, and that she was not satisfied his conduct amounted to harassment. So, but he was found guilty of damage to their phone.
I think Free Speech Union are taking
yeah, I mean, he's all
responsibility for that.
Yeah,
that's the other thing, isn't it? Yeah, I can't. Yeah, I'm not going to be a hard-hitting interviewer. I'll try when I'm not going to make people feel uncomfortable. Actually, but what about your stance on this?
I remember years ago in the before time, BC before COVID, right? Is that he was a proper, you talk about, wokery and leftism and all of this stuff, right?
Yeah.
He was proper on board of that. And the only reason what turned him is that it then happened to him. So I remember, do you remember there's a Scottish YouTuber guy called Count Dankula, or Mark Meachin, his real name is, and he was famously the guy who taught his dog to do a Roman salute thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then that went viral, even though it was just a dumb joke, of like, oh look, I've trained my dog to do this, ha 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 ha, nothing more than that, nothing.
Yeah.
And then everyone just lost their crap and go, oh my god, like this Nazi dog, like whatever, right?
Yeah.
And Graham Linehan, he then jumped in on that and said, "Oh, it's a disgrace," and all this sort of stuff, right? And then
Is he Scottish?
no, he was Irish. He was right, so he was. So he then jumped on that, and then there was this big thing for about a year of like Mark Meechin and and Graham Linehan then just going like off on that for a while, and then eventually Graham Linehan then got cancelled. So basically, this guy, Mark Meechin, Count Dankula, he wasn't famous, he wasn't well known then, but basically he lost his job. He basically got cancelled in polite society, right? And what happened then was just that eventually the mob then came for Graham Linehan because then he said he was supportive of what's her name, who wrote Harry Potter? What's her name again?
J.K. Rowling.
J.K. Rowling about the whole trans issue. And then they tried to cancel Graham Linehan. And then that's when he realized that, this is the same thing with, like the whole, if they, first they came for, and then I said nothing, blah, blah, blah. And then eventually they came for me. And that literally happened in real time. That played out for Graham Linehan. And then he realized, oh wow, they really are the fascists, like the people, that I was essentially what he would say. And then he made apologies to Count Dankula and Mark Meechin and all of that. So maybe you could bring that up. I mean, that isn't really a contentious stuff because he did.
All good things.
Ways. He did actually say, "Oh, actually, I've seen the error of my ways, and I actually know this." So he did actually apologise to it, which is fair enough. But
tell you what's interesting.
Go on.
Do you ever use? I know you don't go on social media as much as you do, but do you ever use Grok?
What, the Twitter's AI?
Yeah.
Not particularly, no. But what about it? I can just use it right now. Go on.
I find it interesting. I think it's had an upgrade recently because sometimes, when it first got launched, I messed around with it a bit to see if it could pull certain personality traits from people's accounts, or even my own account. Just say what did I think of? I know you could put COVID or something like that. Okay. And it used to say, I cannot analyze tweets now. Anyway, I think it was with you when Jada Franson was being interviewed and she was talking about Leo Kearse and how Leo Kearse used to call Jada a racist. And now he's been labelled as a racist and he's saying what we could interpret as racist kind of things. And now if you use Grok to ask about someone's stance on something, or has this person ever said this, it'll tell you. So I had a little test earlier about Leo Kearse, and I said, has Leo Kearse ever called anybody a racist? Anyway, it said no initially. And then
really?
No way. Well, actually, did he call Jada Franson a racist? Oh yes, thank you for reminding me. Blah, blah. Anyway, it turns out he was a Remainer way back then. And so Grok actually showed that, his stance changed because I think it goes wherever the money flows. So you can do that with the likes of Graham Linehan.
That's actually quite scary, really, then, because that's basically, this is what I say about like things like, I used to use Facebook quite a lot, back in the day when it first came out, and all of that. And then I just stopped using it. And if I do put anything, I put purposely disinformation in the sense that, I'll say I'm in, I don't know, like I'm in Lincolnshire, or I'm in fact in Southampton. You know what I mean? Like, I'll say something like that's sometimes what I do, or I purposely upload photos that have been like old for about 3 months, and so it would give the impression that I'm somewhere else at that time. You know what I mean? Because I just don't like, because I'm generally, especially if you know the history of Facebook. Created by Mark Zuckerberg. It was funded by Peter Thiel.
LifeLog
is essentially it's LifeLog. It's Peter Thiel is essentially a CIA operative. Only exclusively does contracts via Palantir. For years. This is what they do to get around the sort of constitutional restraints. They just create private businesses in order to get around the constitutional restraints, right? So we basically fill in our own surveillance reports on Facebook and now Twitter as well. Whenever we post anything, we basically say, and then if you can just type in, what does Charlotte think about this particular topic? You will literally analyze all of like, everything you've ever said, you ever tweeted about, you've ever done, even things you probably deleted, and it will just go, and you're basically creating a psychological, a record, not even a psychological, just a record of everything you have ever done, ever.
You've got to correct that because it doesn't get everything right. And a few months ago, I said something like, "What are Charlotte Emma UK's most controversial moments?" or something, just to see. I was curious. Anyway, it came up with 3. First and second were from my Twitter account, and they were potentially controversial. Third one, it said Charlotte Emma UK once stuck a picture of her own face onto a picture of a dead body. Or something along those lines. She put a picture of her own face on a picture of a dead body. And I went, I've never done that. I replied, I've never done that before. Oh, yeah, sorry, I got mixed up with such and such and such. I thought, imagine if somebody had actually Googled, got grokked that about me. And that's what came up, and people take it at face value.
This is basically the primitive. We're putting in a primitive Minority Report here. So this is like Minority Report, but it's like in its infancy. So it's still getting the kinks. It's still like going through like field testing in a way. But eventually, it does make mistakes. But eventually, it's going to be so good that it's going to be predicting pre-crime. Like, and we kind of already have like forms of pre-crime as well. I remember David Clues came on a few weeks ago, and he said that basically, there was a sting operation being put in by, the state security services here in the UK, and they basically kind of arrested about like a couple of these young guys. But the strange, and they got put in for like about 15 years each. But what was really kind of sinister is that it was the state security agents that were coercing and encouraging these young guys to actually do more than they were actually doing.
Wow.
And the question would have been is that would they have even done it would they have done it without that kind of that push by these operatives? And what was used was the Terrorism Act. And you don't really there's no such thing as entrapment in the Terrorism Act. So you could argue if that was outside of the Terrorism Act, you could argue that that's entrapment, is that that these police or security services operatives, they are entrapping you or these people to basically do this crime. You know what I mean? Like because you can say, For if these people didn't exist or did not encourage me in that way, I would not have done that. You see what I mean? It's entrapment.
Yeah.
But with the Terrorism Act, you don't need that. So they just said this person is a threat to thing. They would have done that. They could have done. They didn't even do anything. They didn't even do anything at this particular point. That they could do it, but they could do it. That was basically the pre-crime kind of Minority Report stuff. So this is basically like with Grok here. This is basically, that's why, again, I don't really go on Twitter that much, because I know, and Facebook and all of this stuff, is because I know that it's building basically a psychological profile that could be used against you one day.
Yeah.
And it's
absolutely.
That's because all of it now. You heard about the, what's it called? Oh God, I always forget what it's called. The dead internet theory. You ever heard of that?
No.
The dead internet theory, that basically most of the internet now is basically like totally controlled by let's just put it in just to see what rather than
is it like a fence archaeology?
No, in the sense that basically most of the internet just seems very smaller than it was then. Is it dead internet theory? Where is it? But it's basically that most of the internet is totally controlled now by how can I say it, like the establishment and all of that.
Yeah.
Let me just write. So I'm obviously butchering what I'm talking about. Dead internet theory is a conspiracy theory which asserts that since around 2016, the internet has consisted mainly of bots activity and all generated content manipulated by algorithmic curation as part of the coordinated and intentional effort to control the population and minimize human activity.
Wow.
Proponents of the theory believe that these social bots were created intentionally to help control algorithms and bot search results in order to influence consumers. Some proponents of the theory gave government accused government theories of using bots to manipulate public perception. I think that's absolutely, definitely true.
Well, 2016 was around the time fake news was the term fake news was bandied around and all, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, I agree. It's like the dead internet theories gain traction because many of the observed phenomena are quantifiable, such as increased bot traffic, but the literature of the subject does not support the full theory. So it's just basically that back in the day when the internet first began, it was a bit of a wild west. You know, it was a bit of, you know, there's a lot more. It seemed bigger. The internet now just seems a lot smaller, and that's not in the such that we've become so good at using it. Yeah. But it just feels like a lot of it is not natural. A lot of it is not organic, and it just feels a bit like it's definitely like a lot of that is true. Like the whole bots are basically used to manipulate marketing strategies, and then I think also it's also used from government agencies to manipulate public opinion in order to get certain outcomes. And I think that's absolutely true. And I think, especially when I was talking earlier about the algorithm, is that a lot of the people, like, you have to understand the algorithm is not some magical, like, you know, like like the Force from Star Wars. Like, it's not some like, you know, magical like entity. It's all the algorithm is just basically a program script that has been created by software engineers to manipulate a certain outcome.
Yeah.
Just go along with whatever. Oh, the algorithm, the Sloppinator, the algorithm is telling me to make a video about transgender stuff or whatever, or it's telling me to make a video about civil war. But it's going to be an oncoming civil war between and you know, and then they get promoted. Then they get more followers and all of that.
Yeah, and also when I see this all the time on things like Facebook, when someone's going, look at the comments, you can see how many people are on the side now because of all the comments are in favour of, you know, like, say for example, I know a pharmacy puts out everyone needs to get the flu jab, and so someone says, if you look at the comments, everyone, you can see how many people walking up. No, you're being shown how many people are aligned with your point of view. If you scroll to the bottom, because of the algorithm, all the other ones will see the other side of the argument at the top. So we're fucked.
Yeah, that's the final word from Charlotte there, from Charlotte Emma. Until later. But anyway, Charlotte, I'm going to let you go. Thank you for coming on the show. It's been fun.
Ditto. I'll see you soon. Yeah, thank you, everyone.
By the way, are you going into anything? Any sort of public events going on just before you go?
Oh, well, we're going to go to the Christmas party, but that's been cancelled, hasn't it?
It has. It's been cancelled. I was really looking forward to going to that.
But it's find an alternative, yeah.
I don't think there is going to be an alternative. It's just that there's just going to be nothing.
Well, the onus is on you then, Sean.
It's on you. You're the Tara Para Tompkinson. You've got to save the day.
You know what happened to her?
Exactly. Well, if you don't organise something,
okay,
it may happen to you. Okay, so that's the final.
Bye. See you. Bye.
That's what Mossad said. See you later, Charlotte. Take care.
Bye. See you.
Take care.